Welcome to the Dad Pod. And boy, folks, do I have a special one for you today because today I have gotten this one to go live. And if you know anything about our special guest today, she probably is, she might have a plastic bag next to her
A little
because
nervous.
she might feel a little nauseous going live. I taught a class the other day to a bunch of new realtors, and I asked them, if I told you to go live, would you feel like you want to throw up? And there was a few of them that raised their hand and said, yes, I would throw up. Stephanie is probably one of those. So let me first introduce myself and what we're doing here. This is the Dad Pod. I am Brad Alexander, the host of the Dad Pod. And over the years, I had the idea, the concept that, you know what, it's kind of like the old school Dairy Queen, everybody meeting up at the Dairy Queen to have coffee together. And if those of you that are from Kyle, Texas, like me, you would know what I'm talking about whenever people used to just go have coffee and get to know each other at the local Dairy Queen. So the Dad Pod is my version of, instead of talking about people, how about we get to know people? So today, well, first of all, we have a huge announcement. And then we are going to get to know this one, Stephanie Alexander, from dance to real estate to business to community to Jesus Christ. We're going to cover it all. But she's Stephanie Alexander. I'm Brad Alexander. She probably feels like she's going to throw up right now. Honey, we have 10 people watching us live right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right. Do you want to say the announcement? Do you want me to say the announcement? We have a huge, huge announcement to make.
I'll give you the honor, Brad.
You'll give me the honor.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody, I use the word folks a lot. So if you watch my live videos or my reels or what, I use the word folks way too much. So folks, this one's big. This one's huge. Today is 10 years that that one right there, and me, the Alexander home team turns 10 years old today. Wow. What an God. I was watching a YouTube video the other day, and Tom Ferry said that 80% of realtors turn. Hey, Lauren Lyons. Lauren just said hi.
Hey, girl.
80% of realtors go out of business in the first 2 years. We made it 10. All right. And we made it 10. And we, meaning Stephanie and I, we want to celebrate with you. All right. So how can we celebrate our 10-year business anniversary with you? We're going to play 10 days of giveaways. All right. 10 days of giving from the Alexander home team. How is the game going to be played? Number one, and guys, don't worry about it. We will give you plenty of instructions between now and then. But the first step to the game is on July 15th from 11 to 1 and 4:30 to 6:30. You get to call Brad or Stephanie, whichever. You're probably going to want to call Stephanie. Her phone is probably going to ring a lot more than mine. Call Brad or Stephanie and just say hi. Maybe say congratulations. Maybe say we're proud of you. Who knows what you want to say, but we're going to use that time to update the information that we have for you. So it's going to be a contact update for us, but we would really love to hear from you on July 15th from 11 to 1 and 4:30 to 6:30. We gave y'all kind of a lunch break time and kind of a after work time. So there's that. Then everyone who calls us, and we hope that there's hundreds, everyone that calls us on that day gets in the raffle for 10 straight days. We are going to give away something. We don't know what yet because we're not that well organized, right, Stephanie?
Yeah, we're working on it.
we're going to give away, if you own a local business, or if you have a, I don't know, if there's something that you would like to for us to advertise your business as part of our giveaway, we would love to help out local businesses in advertising our 10 days of giving. Our 10 days of giving are going to be July 20th through July 30th. So we're going to celebrate all July. July 1st is our anniversary. All right. Tomorrow, Stephanie and I are going to take the day off. Woo, I might get a little emotional here. We haven't had very many days off in 10 years. And we're going to go do husband, wife, business owner. I think there may be a pool involved, resort involved. We're going to go do a day trip somewhere as long as it doesn't rain. So we're hoping we keep that away. So today's the anniversary. Tomorrow is our fun day. I leave town with Brooklyn on Saturday to go do a week-long rodeo in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Those of you that still need our services, Stephanie's still here, right? And if you ask a lot of our friends, clients, friendlies over here, she's better than I am. So you're in good hands. And then I'm going to come back from Oklahoma, and we are going to do the day that you call us. That's July 15th. And then we're going to finish out the day with 10 days of giving. So that was a lot, Stephanie.
You did a good job.
All right. So the announcement, Stephanie, we made it 10 years.
10 years. Thank you, God.
10 years. We did not go out of business. We've been close a couple of times. We've had some counseling. So y'all know me, I'm an open book. I may not be the easiest person to own a business with. I may not be the easiest person to be married to. So we have learned how to, I tell people now, after we've learned for 10 years, it's my job to get you to hire us, even though a lot of people hire Stephanie. It's my job to get you to hire us. It's Stephanie's job to make sure that you write us a raving review and to send all of your referrals to us. And over the last few years, we've done a pretty good job of keeping to that model. So without further ado, that's enough about the Alexander Home Team. That's enough about our anniversary, although today is a very big day for us. But now, guys, I got her on live video. I've got Stephanie on live. And if you paid attention a little bit, we were about 5 minutes late to this. If you know Stephanie at all, she lives by the ish. All right. I live by the world of if you're 10 minutes early, you're 5 minutes late. And Stephanie lives by the world of ish. So, but I love her. She's my wife for 17 years. Who is Stephanie Alexander? This is where you chime in, honey.
Okay. Oh, man. Gosh, I don't know where to begin. Well, I was born in El Paso, Texas. My mom remarried a gentleman in the military, my stepdad, Doug. And we moved to Germany in high school. And I graduated from an American school in Germany on post, and then ended up going back to El Paso for my college years. I've danced my entire life. When it was time to figure out what I wanted to do with my life at the age of, I don't know, 21, 22-ish, the only thing I have done my whole life was dance. And so I decided to go to UTEP and major in dance. Really, I wanted to be like a backup dancer for Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears, and that's really what I wanted to do. And I did get some experience in college doing some backup dancing, but ultimately I decided to major in education. And so my mom moved to San Antonio, and I decided that I wasn't ready to be away from my mom and my family fresh out of college. So I moved to San Antonio, interviewed for jobs all around the San Antonio, Austin area, and got my first job right out of college at Dow Valley High School as a dance director. Didn't know what I was doing. I was a baby. I mean, my seniors were just a few years younger than me. But they were gracious and they were patient with me and they allowed me to learn. And then I met Brad. So my students knew I was single and young, and they, were telling me I needed a boyfriend, of course, because what high school girl, that's what seniors and, that's what they think about. So they decided to send a Halloween candygram to Coach Alexander from Coach Hempstead, unbeknownst to me. Although we had kind of talked about it, I'm not going to lie, but it was a joke and they took it seriously. So they sent him a Halloween candygram.
Guys, we have it on the record. She hit on me. It's on the record. There you go.
Yeah. So this was during lunchtime. I get back to my computer. I have an email from Brad thanking me for the candygram that I sent him. I was mortified. I was upset with my students that they actually did it. And he asked me out on a date, and the rest is history. I mean, we were both in education for a few years. Brad's best friend, Jason Tarr, was in real estate from, I don't even know when he started, but long before us, and was, telling Brad that you guys could make a lot more money in real estate than you can in education. So Brad took the plunge first, and I was still teaching. We were both still teaching, but Brad got into real estate before I did. And I just wasn't happy with my job, my teaching job anymore. And he was making some good money. And so I decided to get out of coaching and go into real estate summer of 2015. And I guess right before school started again that summer, I was able to resign from my teaching job and go into real estate full time. And here we are 10 years later. I have no idea how. It's seriously by the grace of God. He's carried us through all these 10 years. And I am so thankful. On the days that it gets hard, I just remind myself that, I have a flexibility. I'm here with my kids. And so super thankful to be in real estate. And that sums me up.
Well, it doesn't quite sum you up. We're gonna. It's my job to get you to dig a little bit deeper.
Okay.
But man, so you were talking about Jason, and so Jason was in a horrible wreck and all that. So I was on Jason's team, and the team got taken over by a close person of ours, and that person decided to move the team to Century 21. And Stephanie and I prayed on it and talked about it, and we weren't willing to go there. So we went and met with a woman named Melanie. Melanie, I'm going to tag you on this video after I get done. This program doesn't allow me to tag. So we went and met with Melanie. Our kids sat in the lobby at the Keller Williams office because we were on our way. It was July 1st. We were on our way to the lake house to spend July 4th at the lake. God, Brooklyn was like 6 years old. And I talked to Brooklyn this morning about how she's pretty much grown up being a business owner's kid. I mean, whenever daddy or mom got on the phone, our kids knew to shut up. And so, and when we went on vacation, our kids knew that mom and dad were going to work until 11 o'clock in the morning. So preoccupy yourself. We met with Melanie. Melanie gave us the blessing to start the Alexander home team, and the rest is history on that one. But we've got so much more to dig in. So we've gone from dance. So dance, yes, Stephanie's captain of the dance team that year, who ended up marrying and having kids with a starter on my basketball team that year. They're now the Winds. And so locally, Marcus, and I'll tag y'all as well in there. So Stephanie, did you ever see yourself being a business owner?
No. like I said, I danced my whole life. I was very passionate about dance. Teaching it was another story. It was not easy. It was a little bit more challenging in the Dove Valley School District as well. Um, and so I went from high school, and then I actually decided I thought I was going to go into a corporate job, which I did for a few years. Drove to Sixth Street for 3 years, and that was very difficult. And so um, a past principal when I was at Dove Valley High School reached out to me and said they were looking for a middle school job teacher, dance teacher. And thought about it for a little bit. Of course, we talked about it, thought, okay, I'm going to leave my corporate job and I'm going to go back teaching dance. So I did that at the middle school level. Um, whew, that was really, really hard. A little bit less hours, but not a whole lot. I mean, I was still teaching quite a bit of hours, working in the evenings, football games, and all that. And so Brad and I started talking about me going into real estate. And when I had the opportunity to go full time, well, first of all, when I first got into real estate, I was told that I didn't quite have the personality to go into real estate, that I probably wasn't going to make it, that I should probably just do like inside sales on the phone. I was decent at that. So that kind of was a blow to my confidence. And so I definitely didn't think that I had what it took to get into real estate. But Brad has always, pushed me to step out of my comfort zone, and he didn't listen or want to take that what that person said to me. He was like, "Whatever, they're crazy. You've got this."
Hey, we
Um,
got 2 kids to feed. We got a house payment to make.
yeah,
Suck it up, Buttercup. Let's go.
yeah. I mean, that's basically how it happened. And so I said, "Okay, I'll give it a shot. I don't know if I can do this." Um, and of course, you get better throughout the years, and I'm a lot more comfortable talking about real estate than I was 10 years ago. But no, I mean, when I got into real estate, I didn't quite have it in my brain that I was going to be a business owner necessarily. It was just I was going to help some people buy and sell some houses. I had no idea what it took to really start the Alexander Home team and what that meant with my husband. There was a lot that I didn't know then that I know now that I can certainly share wisdom on, but um, never imagined it. But here we are 10 years later in the blink of an eye.
Well, our good friend Dina Jansen would probably say we need to write a book.
Oh gosh.
So the book of owning a business, a real estate business, and raising kids together as a husband and wife, that would be it'd be a hell of a book, folks. Um, One thing that I think that you did not correlate dance and teaching with real estate, but they're so similar. Meaning, you taught your students from the foundational level of dance because a lot of your kids didn't have a background.
No.
And so you taught your kids the foundations of dance but not only taught them, but you had to put together lesson plans and organize and those things in order to teach your kids. Well, you're doing nothing different than teaching. And guys, I will tell y'all, Stephanie's so much better than I am. I'm impatient. I have a thing called testosterone. I have all these other things. I like talking on the computer and being live, but Stephanie's so much better on working with people, having empathy, and trying to figure out, how to sell their house, what's the best house to buy. So really, you used to teach girls how to dance, and today you're teaching people the proper way of buying and selling a house. All you're doing is teaching.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, now that I look at it now, I definitely feel I see that. All I knew was dance my whole life. And so, having to talk to people about real estate was super scary in the beginning. I probably messed it up, 1,000 times in the beginning. But yeah, now I love helping people, especially people who have never bought or sold a home before. Probably some of my favorite clients. because they allow me to share my wisdom and they trust me with my experience. And getting to the closing table with a first time home buyer or seller is awesome. One of my favorite parts of real estate for sure.
So earlier I mentioned therapy. Maybe counseling's a better word for it. We are not immune to needing help from other people. And many people have helped us, whether it be our parents, whether it be pastors from church, friends, close ones. But I will say during that process, Stephanie, and guys, we did not prep this video one bit, right? She
Yeah,
has no
he
idea.
started. Let's just wing it. I'm like, oh gosh.
She has no idea where I'm going with this, folks.
Yeah.
So about 10 years ago, we had a 6-year-old, we had a 3-year-old, and Stephanie was really struggling with her purpose. And she made this clear. I mean, she was out there, she was living in a town that she had never lived in, did not know anyone. And then 10 years later, and then we start this business, and it's like, holy crap. So I personally feel Stephanie's purpose was twofold, but one real, she was made to be a mom. Let me tell you, she is a mom that is wow. All right. So, we just had a church sermon this past Sunday about marriage and the role of the female and the role of the male, right, Stephanie?
Yes.
And wow, I'm sitting there, and there was a thing in, was it Proverbs, where Chris read through the whole list of things, and I'm like, man, Stephanie does that, Stephanie does that, Stephanie does that, Stephanie does that.
I still got a lot to work on.
Holy crap! So Stephanie's a mom to our 2 girls. Right, one daughter has decided to be a one-day professional rodeo girl, barrel racer. Right, we have no background in that. And our other daughter wants to be an elite gymnast. And even though Stephanie has a background in dance, there's really very little correlation to dance and gymnastics, except maybe feet in a floor routine. And even though I have a background in agriculture, it has very little to do with riding a horse around 3 barrels in a rodeo. So, talk to us about being a mom. Oh, and she also loves pigs. Let her tell you a little bit about pigs. Let's go. Tell us a little bit about the mom, Stephanie.
Well, of course, when your kids are young, you always say, gosh, I can't wait to see what they get into one day. And I just thought my girls, I had 2 girls, they're both going to be dancers, right? They're going to take after their mom. And that was for a very, very short amount of time. I don't know if Maddie ever did dance, but
Maybe one class.
yeah, she did
She was
cheer
not
and
having it.
gymnastics, but Brooklyn kind of entertained me for a few years, and
Made the
then
dance team.
she did. She made the dance team at Dance Unlimited and was doing that, and I loved every second of it. And then, she suddenly came to us out of nowhere and said she wanted to ride horses.
Well, she
And
came to me first because she was afraid to go to mom.
right.
We were
She had this conversation with Brad first, and then
on our way
Brad's
back from a pig show.
yeah,
She
and
was
then
as serious as ever. Daddy, I want to quit dance. I was like, have you talked to your mom yet? No. Right, well,
mhm.
and then I started to tell her, well, in our family, you got to do something. Having 2 competitive parents, and she was like, oh, I know what I want to do. I was like, what do you want to do? I want to barrel race. Come to find out, she had been watching this lady named Fallon Taylor on YouTube. And God, that was 8 years ago. And now we
Luckily, we had a friend whose daughter was doing that kind of stuff. Western writing is what they call it. So she knew she didn't want to go into English writing, which is kind of like the proper way. They jump over the poles and things like that. That's not what she was talking about. She wanted to go fast around barrels. And so, we were like, okay, we'll just start lessons. And then, like Brad said, we're both pretty competitive. So within, like, I don't know, a year or two, we were talking about buying our own horse. And no idea
We
what.
own horses because of Stephanie. Let's make this perfectly clear. Brooklyn's coach used to supply us with horses. In her first play day, Tammy, I'm sure you're probably going to watch this, but our first play day, she got to ride the horse named Barbie, and Barbie was legit. And Brooklyn won probably every event. Well, the next play day, Tammy did not give Brooklyn Barbie, and Brooklyn got like 8th place in every event. And Stephanie said, we're going to go buy our own horse.
Time to buy a horse, our own horse. Yeah. So we can have that control. And so now we're 3 horses later, now we've owned 3 horses. Currently we own 2, and gosh, I can't picture my life doing anything else. We've learned so much, and we've had so much support, thankfully, because we sometimes still don't know what the heck we're doing. And then Maddie going into gymnastics, inside sport, I'm down for that. Similar.
Hold on. Let's stop this story. Hold on.
Okay.
Tell them about the doctorate degree you got. So for those of y'all that did not know, Stephanie has an honorary MD degree in medicine because she self-diagnosed our daughter with type 1 diabetes, and she also self-diagnosed herself with meningitis that she got for the second time. So tell us a little bit about August 10th, 2017. There you go. I knew the day at least.
Yeah. I think it's more mom intuition, like your mom gut, than it is, but we do joke around here that I have like an honorary MD degree because I Google a lot of stuff and then I start ruling out symptoms. And usually, I mean, not all the time, but, anyways, Maddie, poor thing, at 6 years old, she got the flu on her birthday, on her 6th birthday.
March 11th.
Yep. And so I remember it. We couldn't celebrate her birthday. She was bummed. We had this awesome cake for her that we all got to eat ourselves because nobody came over because she had the flu. And then after she got the flu, she just didn't seem right after that. So we're talking from March to August. She was losing a lot of weight, super thirsty. I mean, we couldn't go to HEB without her having to chug water or use the restroom. Something felt off. And again, she was really, really, really thin. And of course, the first month or 2, we were thinking, okay, it's hot, it's Texas, so she's thirsty. She just got on team for gymnastics. So she upped her hours. So she's working really hard at gymnastics. Maybe that's why she's losing weight. Looking back on it now, I'm like, no 6-year-old's going to lose weight. But, we didn't know at first. Luckily, my brother is in actual medicine. He does have a real degree. And so I knew something was off. So I called my brother and told him all the symptoms that Maddie was having. And, he kind of confirmed my mom gut and said, yeah, you need to get her in. So maybe August 8th, we took her in to get her to her pediatrician. They did end up, after giving the symptoms, they checked her blood sugar. They took her A1C. Took about 2 days to get back. So we're at August 10th. Brad and I are working from home, I remember. And of course, sitting on pins and needles, waiting for the phone call for the results of her A1C or what's going on. And we get the phone call, and first thing the doctor asks me if I'm at home and if I'm sitting down. And I knew right then and there that it wasn't.
And we were at home because God had pushed us to leave the world of education and to be self-employed. So luckily we were at home.
Working from home, and we got the call that we needed to pack our bags right then and there. No, there was no like come in tomorrow, none of that. Maddie was at Kids Academy that day. We had dropped Brooklyn and Maddie off at Kids Academy for summer camp so that we could get our work done at home. So we went and picked up Maddie, left Brooklyn at Kids Academy for a few hours because I know she didn't want to be sitting at the hospital. Luckily, my mom came into town. Both of our moms jumped in action. And we took Maddie to Dell Children's that day. They tested her blood sugar at the hospital. It was something crazy, like, I don't know, 600 or 4 in the 400s. And we knew right then and there that she did, in fact, have type 1 diabetes. So that was scary. That was really, really scary. I'd say for the first, I don't know, 2 years. We're how many years now? Like 8
We're a lot.
years into it now. A little bit more manageable. Still sucks every day, but nothing like the first 2 years. It was terrifying. We just learned how to manage it. And Maddie's a champ now. She basically takes care of herself.
And you're a gym mom?
I'm a gym mom too. So Maddie, during this time she was getting into gymnastics. And I remember thinking when she was diagnosed, my first thought was, oh my gosh, she's going to have to quit gymnastics. She's not going to be able to do anything that she loves anymore. And that was kind of my first, after we realized that she was going to survive this, everything was going to be okay. My next question was, can she do gymnastics? Yes, no problem. So it took us some time to get back into it. She had to gain weight. She was, what did we say? She was like 40 pounds.
Yeah, Stephanie had a doctor's appointment the other day with our diabetes doctor, and they gave us a growth chart of hers, and she was 40 pounds. And I mean, every August 10th, we post a anniversary picture of it. We try to celebrate every August 10th. You're like, you try to celebrate? And I'm like, damn right I celebrate because we still got our baby little girl. And that's a celebration. Kind of feel like God we're educators, and it's what we do. We educate people on how to buy houses. We educate people on how to sell houses. Well, God also put it on our plate to educate people about a thing called type 1 diabetes. We were at a rodeo in Glen Rose, 2 weeks ago? And Maddie got in the car and she goes, Daddy, some guy just told me that, what did he tell her? If she did something, she could cure diabetes.
I think it was eat vegetables or something.
It was something.
I don't know, something
crazy. And I'm like, honey, that's why we are out there to educate people, because there is no.
He had type 2, and so
I had type 2, and he was, and he had type 2 and type 1 confused, and so over the last 8 years, we have educated as many people as possible on type 1 diabetes, and she has not missed a beat, folks. Madison has been the state champion in gymnastics 2 years. She's a regional champion in gymnastics, and make sure so gymnastics is kind of like football, which I really appreciate. There's one state champion, and each age level in each group. So there's multiple state champions in each group, but they break it down to where you don't get to go choose an easy meet to go win a state champion. And so she's flourished. She's now going to be in high school. God help us.
Crazy.
Both of our girls are as girly as a daddy could have. Holy crap. Here I am. I roll out of bed, throw some water on my hair. The longest thing that takes me to get ready in the morning is the shower. And I've got these 3 females in the house with me that, folks, it's a beautiful thing, and it's a very challenging thing at times too. So talk to us about being the city girl from El Paso to being a show pig mom. I want to hear that one.
Well, I didn't even know showing pigs was a thing growing up. I had no zero friends that did that in El Paso. And then I moved to Katy, Texas, and again, didn't really know about that life. Definitely was a city girl. Um, and so I meet Brad, and I can tell he's a little country, different than anybody I've ever dated. But it was just something that I could picture him one day being a father, and those are the types of things that attracted me to him. And so we were dating, and I was at his house meeting his parents. Things were getting a little bit more serious, and I see his belt buckles, and I ask, "What is this? Why is there a pig on your belt buckle?" Um, and he explained to me that he showed pigs growing up, and I had no clue what that meant. So Brooklyn comes along, and Brad was like, "Well, why don't we go to a rodeo and go check out the livestock part of the rodeo?" And so we can see what it's all about. So I would say you're the one that started the whole pig thing and got the family into it. But we went, Brooklyn loved it.
I
I
blame it on my
mean,
dad, but I have a little bit to do with it.
yeah, she seemed to show some interest in it when we went to the rodeo fair livestock show. And so we got our first pig. We decided
Princess.
that we were going to give it a try. Her name was Princess, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So we started off with one pig, and didn't know what we were doing. Brad had been out of the game for quite some time. I mean, of course, he's had way more experience than I, so I just let him do his thing. It was kind of Brooklyn and Brad's thing. Maddie couldn't show yet; she wasn't old enough. There was an age restriction at that time. But Maddie loved being around the pigs too. And then here we are. I don't know how
9 years,
many. How many?
8 years, 9 years, somewhere.
Gosh, that's crazy. And now every season we have about 6 pigs. So
Madison wants 10 this year.
yeah, she's crazy. She's crazy. We're not gonna have 10 pigs, but we'll see. I usually get um, overruled when it comes to pigs. But yeah, they spend a lot of time there. They do not smell very good at all. The stench that comes from pigs is nauseating at times. But when my kids are out there showing, it makes my mama heart so happy. Like, I love it. I mean, I love the community. We've met some of our best friends, Lauren and Alan. Um, showing pigs. Brad already knew them from high school, of course, because he knows everybody from high school. But I didn't, meet Lauren until this whole pig world came to be. And so um, every year it's still like, if I do spend a little bit of time in the barn. I know my kids would say I don't spend any time in the barn, but I do sometimes. I go out there. But I mean, your clothes, your skin smells like pigs after you leave the barn. I don't know how they do it, but they love it. And I love watching them do it. And and my family, all my family thinks we're crazy. My side of the family, my mom, my brother, I mean, they think we're absolutely insane that we do this. They don't understand it. They give us a hard time every year. But
Robin Underdown says that you and her are the support staff.
yes, and Robin, I don't know what I would do without Robin Underdown, because she definitely she holds us down when we're at pig shows.
She's
Uh,
watching this and put that in the comments that y'all are the support staff.
okay, yes, Robin. Hi, shout out. You're another one. We knew her from Dow Valley, Robin and Andrea, but we reconnected with them in the pig world, and they're another pair of our really, really good friends that I don't know that we could do this without them. So just super thankful for the community. And
Robin was our co-worker, our wedding photographer. We now rodeo together. We show pigs together. Yeah.
yeah, small world, how all of that life brings you back together. Um,
So speaking about that, we try to put a plan to everything, or at least I do. I try to plan everything. Stephanie says, tell me when to be in the car. She's probably going to be late. Tell me when to be in the car and tell me what to pack for. Right. And that's about all Stephanie needs. She needs no planning, no heads up.
You're so good at it. I trust you.
It's a free living life, right? So I know where I'm going to stop for gas between here and Shawnee, Oklahoma. I know where we're going to let I know everything. Stephanie gets in the car and says, do I go this way or that way? And that's about it. So I'm big into planning. Stephanie, not so much big into planning, but I'm sure you've planned or thought, I'm going to plan this and plan, I'm going to have this. Anyways, I think we both realize that our plan really doesn't matter, that God's got a plan. So you found God, your growth in Jesus Christ has amplified. I don't know if that's even the right word, but and then, Stephanie, when I told y'all earlier, Stephanie had this question about purpose and position and all that stuff. That, Stephanie has formed 2 groups or been members of, I was, okay. So there was a group that they used to go to the YMCA and all dance together. And there was a group called the Cardio Funk Group, right? Erica Long, you're out there. That
hey, girl.
That Cardio Funk group was tight. All right. So Stephanie got a part of that group. Then Stephanie formed, after the Cardio Funk group, or probably the same time period, the Ladies of Hays County. And then recently, in the most recent times, Stephanie has formed a social media platform group to where her and a bunch of other women are reading the Bible in 1 year. And so
today's day, like 182 or something like that. So we're halfway done reading the Bible, which is awesome.
So, and it's not that me and Stephanie, you say, when we say and people get this up, it's not that when you found Jesus or what, I mean, you always knew he was there. But there was a point to where I know but when you just realize that, and a lot of times it's when you hit rock bottom, you're like, when we hit rock bottom, we have no other place to go but Jesus Christ. So tell us about your journey with God. Because I know that's me being your husband, I know that's a very important part of your life.
It is. Yeah. I've always been a believer. Wasn't raised super religious. We didn't go to church all the time or anything like that. I did go to church camps with friends during the summer sometimes. But in my adult life, I just felt this tug in my soul and in my heart. So quite a few years ago, probably over 10 years ago, Brad and I got baptized at Fellowship at Plum Creek.
Together.
We did. And so again, I've always been a believer. My maturity, my walk with Christ has definitely grown, I would say, in the last 2 or 3 years. Last year, for the first time, I read the Bible in a year, and it changed my life. I feel like that's when really things started changing for me. This year, I'm doing it again on a whole new level. More knowledge, more wisdom, more maturity. But yeah, when Brad says like my maturity with Christ, is when you hit rock bottom. But without testing, if our lives were just always good and butterflies and sunshine and rainbows, we wouldn't need anybody else. It would just, and that's not what God wants for us. God wants us to depend on him because his strength is much more than ours. He holds our life in his hands. And I do deeply care about where my soul is going to end up after I leave this earth. I want to be in heaven with Jesus for eternity, and so I try to work on that every single day of my life. I have a lot more growing to do, and there's some things that I still need to work on. But Jesus came for the sinners. He did not come to call the righteous and the perfect people. He wants you to walk alongside him, and he wants you to depend on him. Um, and so I know that my trials and the times that I was in the valleys is definitely when I have grown closer to God. And I don't feel like, had I not gone through some of these hard times, that I wouldn't be where I was today, um, in my walk with Jesus. And so, um, this summer, I have committed to women's Bible study at Fellowship, which I've done it kind of halfway the last few summers. But again, this year, I'm like, no, I'm going to go. As if I'm in town, I'm going. And my group is amazing. I'm getting to walk, with these other women and their walk with Christ, and just getting to know other people.
And that
Um,
is tonight.
that is tonight at 7, on Tuesday nights at 7.
So if you want to join Stephanie for a women's Bible study,
Yeah, I mean,
invitation is always open.
totally. Like, it doesn't matter that we've already had, it's already been happening. Like, every single time that I go, every week is something new. I learn something new. I'm inspired. So yeah, if you want to come tonight, just let me know. I would love to save you a seat. But there's a lot of more maturing that I want to do with God, but just being in His Word daily has changed my life. It's on my outlook on life. It's given me joy that even in the trials, it's given me a peace um, about the future of myself, my marriage, my kids. Um, and so I'm just excited to continuing reading the Bible with women that I'm doing this Bible recap with in this group. There's 47 women in the group, and it's not too late if you wanted to jump in and start on day one in this group. We're just there to encourage each other. But
Did you say 47?
There's 47. Yeah. I Yeah. So, and I hope, even if just one person, was encouraged, I would hope that, and I'm doing this for God, not for myself. Like, I just, the way that God changed my life and my outlook on life last year, I want somebody to see and feel that same impact that only God can bring on your life. And so that's kind of why I started this group to begin with. And
I was not allowed to be in the group. I
well,
did not get an invite.
at first it was anybody, but what happened organically was it just all ended up being women.
What happened
Um,
was
what had happened was it just all ended up being women. And so at that point I was like, Brad, I don't. So I've been kind of encouraging him alongside, outside of
I've
the
been
group.
doing it. I'm a few days behind, more than a few days, but I
And it
am
doesn't
past
matter
100
because
days. I've read more books this year. Now, maybe books in the Bible, but I've read more books this year than I've read my entire life combined. Um, and like Stephanie said, I pushed her business wise in real estate. Guys, I ran 2 miles this morning, and I ran 2 miles this morning because my truck, Stephanie picked me up from the shop, put my truck in the shop to get it looked at before we head to Oklahoma. And she made the comment that she ran 2 miles this morning. And so I went and ran 2 miles because we are two competitive individuals and I'm not going to let her outdo me. So I went and ran 2 miles because I was behind because of the truck. Um, and so yeah, we've both had our own journey with Christ and finding Jesus and living a Jesus like life, even though we sin. At least I do all the. I mean, yeah. Um, but I think I'm a better person today than y'all know the song by Kevin Fowler, Hard Man to Love. You're looking at him. But I hope that I'm sometimes a easier person to love today than I was back whenever. Look at this, folks. Back whenever this.
Wow.
So this was circa. Well, I
Oh,
basically
nice.
decided: is this girl going? Does she have potential to be the one? No better place to find out than Las Vegas, right?
That was in
This
Las Vegas.
is Las Vegas. What, 2007?
Mm.
Summer of 2007, Las Vegas. Look at my hair was so much darker. Wow. So, a little bit of recap. It all started in El Paso. Um, you were an Army brat that married a small town. She went to schools in multiple different towns, and I went to school in one town. And there are people probably watching this that I went to first grade through 12th grade together. Um, and then we left the world of education and went into business. And then you've got the mom part of it. Stephanie loves the smell of pigs. I mean, loves it. And loves seeing her kids compete, though. But we've tried that. I think you could honestly talk to the people at the gym. You could honestly talk to Brooklyn's horse coach. I'm kind of the pig coach. But we are not, even though we're competitive, we're not those parents that are in the gym every day. You know, our kids have coaches, and we let our coaches do what they're supposed to do. So I think we do a good job of that. Uh, we both have found God, and honey, we've been in business together for 10 years.
10
So
years.
back to the announcement, folks. Today, July 1st, it is the Alexander Home Team's 10th anniversary. So we would like to celebrate with you. What does that mean? That means on July 15th, and we're going to do multiple things on social media, multiple things on email. So trust me, we're going to let you know. But on July 15th, we want you to give us a call. And we're going to post our phone numbers. Our phone numbers are all over the place. We want you to give us a call and just say hi, congratulate us, so we can say thank you. Stephanie, we've sold 387 houses in 10 years. Wow. So we expect 387 phone calls on July 15th. With that being said, from July 20th through July 30th, if you call us on the 15th, folks, we are going to have 10 days of giving. The Alexander Home Team is going to give back for 10 days. And we want you to be a part of that. And all you got to do to be a part of the raffle is give us a call on July 15th. Wow. 10 years. Wow. We're going to do it another 10 years. And we're going to do it bigger. And we're going to do it better. But we are also going to stay grounded on those beautiful two girls, Jesus Christ, our community, our families, and those type of things. So what else you got, Stephanie?
That's it. I think I've done enough talking.
Folks, I got Stephanie Alexander to do a live video. So if you are out there, if you're any of my new mentors that are learning, and I've started mentoring realtors and started a coaching venture, folks, if Stephanie can do live, you can do live. So with that being said, we are the Alexander Home Team, and we are here to make your dreams a reality.
Bye. Thanks for watching.